Today on Weenie and Cabal Slaver. Cabal Slaver comes from the original Onslaught block. 2-1 black for a 2-1 creature. Whenever a goblin deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card from his or her hand. This was originally a card that doesn't really do anything by itself. It requires a goblin in order to be effective. Of course, you can play any number of cards to make it more effective. Since this costs 3 mana, you could on your second turn cast something like Dragon Fodder, any one of the various artworks, put out 2 goblin tokens, or perhaps cast Krenko's Command. Then on your third turn, before you swing out, you play Cabal Slaver. This means unless they can block those 2 goblins, they're going to be discarding 2 cards. Of course, you could also play, in color, you have Festering Goblin and Shambling Goblin. That way you can have a goblin card in black or in red, and it would be able to get in and deal its damage, because they might not want to block this and lose their creature, but then instead they would have to sacrifice, or they'd have to discard their cards. See, Cabal Slaver is the type of card, like I said, doesn't really work by itself, but you can build a strategy around it. You can go through and build a deck with any number of effects or creatures that can do very good. I mean, second turn you could play Slavering Nulls, which works very well. As long as you have a swamp, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card. With this and Cabal Slaver, the combined effect is that they discard 2 cards instead of 1. But all you have to do is make sure you have a swamp. Now, since you're playing black and red, you could play things like Lightning and Kolaghan's Command. Of course, it's a different type of a strategy, because Kolaghan's Command isn't quite the same thing as Lightning, but you would be able to deal 2 damage to target creature or player, perhaps getting rid of a creature and then forcing them to discard a card from their hand, or destroying an artifact in play, or returning one of your own creatures, like perhaps Cabal Slaver, to your hand as part of the Kolaghan's Command effect. And all these cards can all be played into a deck using Alesha, who smiles at death, as your tiny leader or commander, Mardu, because you could play red, white, black, or you could just play red, black. It wouldn't hurt to play red, white, black though, because you'd be able to pull out Cabal Slaver for white mana, or you'd be able to play any number of white creatures and effects that can destroy artifacts and enchantments, and use Alesha to pull it back out into play. So, Cabal Slaver is a very, very strong card. You can build a strategy around it, and, well, it doesn't do anything by itself, but it does work in a strategy by playing goblins. It's not often that you get to play goblins, to do that kind of an effect. Normally this is a Spectre type of effect, like Hypnotic Spectre or Abyssal, or even Ordered Yawgmoth type of ability. It's unusual to see that passed on to goblins like that. Now, I hope that you're having a wonderful morning, wonderful afternoon, or wonderful evening, and hope tomorrow's even better. Just take care, everybody.